Good morning. I need you to stop whatever you are currently doing and give your full attention to what I am about to share, because this information has the genuine potential to change the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, and the way you experience every single day from this point forward. Most doctors will hand you a pamphlet about protein intake and consider that sufficient. But today, I am going to share something that the conventional medical community almost never takes the time to discuss properly. The specific foods that, when consumed during the early morning hours, can actively help slow, and in many cases, reverse the muscle breakdown that is quietly taking place in your legs right now. And yes, I am deliberately using the word reverse, because regardless of your current age or physical condition, it is genuinely not too late to make a meaningful difference. My name is Dr. Adrian Calloway, and I'm the host of this channel, Dr. Adrian Calloway Vertical Bar Advanced Health, where every week I break down the science of aging well into simple, practical steps you can actually use. For many years, I have worked alongside patients who had completely convinced themselves that their weakness, their declining stability, their struggle to climb a flight of stairs, or their difficulty rising from a chair without using their arms was simply an unavoidable part of growing older. That belief is one of the most harmful and inaccurate ideas that has ever been accepted as common wisdom. And today, we are going to dismantle it completely. Were you aware that consuming just one specific food before 8 o'clock in the morning could potentially slow the biological aging of your leg muscles by nearly a full decade? I'm not talking about a pharmaceutical product or an expensive supplement. I'm talking about an ordinary, familiar food that almost every person has encountered at some point in their life. Yet the vast majority of older adults walk right past it every single morning without realizing what they're leaving behind. Now, before we go any further, I want this to feel like a conversation, not a lecture, because I know this topic touches something deeply personal. Maybe you've noticed it yourself. That first step out of bed that feels a little stiffer than it used to, that moment of hesitation before you stand up from the couch, that quiet fear when you step off a curb and your foot doesn't quite land where you expected it to. Maybe you've started using your arms to push yourself up, or you've caught yourself thinking, I'm just getting older. This is normal. I want you to hear this clearly. Aging itself does not weaken your legs. Losing muscle does. And those are two very different problems with two very different solutions. If any of this sounds familiar, you are exactly who this video is for, and I promise you, by the end of it, you'll have a clear, simple plan you can start tomorrow morning. So tell me, where in the world are you watching from today? I make it a personal commitment to read through every comment on this channel, without exception. And I'd love to know, how old are you right now? And what's the one physical activity you absolutely refuse to give up, no matter how difficult things have become? Whether that's taking your dog for a morning walk, dancing with your grandchildren at family gatherings, or tending to your garden with care and dedication, tell me about it in the comments below. Your answer matters to me, and it genuinely shapes the videos I bring you next. Quick word before we continue. I put together a book called Stand Strong to help older adults improve balance, build strength, move with more confidence, and stay independent for as long as possible. If that sounds like something that could help you, you'll find it linked in the description below. I won't mention it again, so let's get into today's topic. Emerging research is now pointing clearly to the idea that incorporating the right foods into your morning routine can help adults over 60 maintain meaningful leg strength, improve overall stability and balance, prevent those disruptive nighttime leg cramps that steal your sleep, and even reduce the risk of progressive muscle deterioration by as much as 72%. Millions of older adults gradually find themselves depending on walkers, canes, or wheelchairs, or slowly losing their freedom to move through life because of this progressive and largely silent condition. The hardest truth is that most of them never knew these foods existed or understood the role they could play. And to make things worse, many people unknowingly accelerate their own muscle decline every single morning by choosing the wrong foods at the wrong time. So let me ask you directly, could you be weakening your legs every single morning simply because you're missing the right foods? Stay with me through the end of this video, because I'm going to walk you through 5 simple, genuinely satisfying breakfast foods that can help you stay strong, balanced, and fully independent well into your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. And the final one on the list may genuinely catch you off guard. Here's something I want you to hold on to. The sensation of your legs becoming less reliable with each passing month is not something you're obligated to accept as permanent. Reaching 60 or 70 does not mean surrendering your ability to walk with confidence, maintain your balance, or live life entirely on your own terms. You can turn this around. And the best part is that doing so requires no medications, no expensive equipment, and no exhausting exercise programs. It begins with something deceptively simple, yet extraordinarily powerful: the very first meal you choose to eat each day. I know that might sound too simple to matter, but the breakfast you choose each morning can either actively protect your legs or slowly erode them over time, and this is precisely what nutritional scientists are increasingly concerned about. Most adults over 60 approach breakfast in entirely the wrong way. They skip it altogether, replace it with a cup of coffee, or reach for nutrient-empty options like white toast or sugary cereal. Some tell themselves, "I'll eat something later," and drift through the entire morning on nothing but water or black coffee. What does this produce? The body enters what's called a catabolic state, where it begins actively breaking down its own muscle tissue for fuel. And do you know which muscles get targeted first? Your leg muscles. The very same muscles responsible for walking, standing upright, maintaining your balance, and protecting you from dangerous falls. A study conducted at Tufts University found that older adults were able to recover up to 35% of their lost leg strength in as little as 8 weeks, simply by eating a nutritious morning meal with the right combination of ingredients. And the encouraging part is that these foods are affordable, ordinary, and sitting on the shelves of any grocery store near you. You've almost certainly seen them during your regular shopping. You simply haven't been combining them correctly or eating them at the most effective time of day. If you've ever believed that lost muscle simply cannot be rebuilt, stay right here, because you may think very differently by the time we're finished. Let me explain what's actually happening in your body. After the age of 60, muscle mass naturally begins to decline, and the legs are among the first and most significantly affected areas. This condition is known medically as sarcopenia, and it's one of the leading contributors to mobility difficulties: trouble rising from a seated position, deteriorating balance, and eventually the need for assistive devices or full-time care. What makes this process particularly deceptive is that muscle loss produces no pain, no fever, no dramatic warning sign. It progresses quietly, year after year. One day your legs simply feel heavier than they used to. Another day you notice yourself stumbling slightly, stepping off a curb. The National Institute on Aging has warned that adults over 60 can lose up to 13% of their leg muscle mass in just 10 years if no corrective action is taken. And this isn't only about strength or appearance. When leg muscles shrink, balance deteriorates, walking speed slows, fall risk rises, circulation declines, bone density decreases, and even sleep quality and mental sharpness can begin to suffer. Why does this matter most in the morning specifically? Because after 7 to 9 hours of sleep, your body has been fasting. Without incoming nutrition, it starts using muscle tissue itself as fuel. A particularly damaging process for older adults whose muscle regeneration capacity is already considerably slower than it was decades earlier. If you don't interrupt that catabolic phase with the right breakfast, your leg muscles begin breaking down before your day has even properly begun. Let me tell you about a patient I'll call Thomas, a 69-year-old retired construction engineer. For most of his working life, Thomas climbed scaffolding and hiked rough terrain without ever feeling like his body was holding him back. But recently, simply getting out of bed had become a real challenge. His knees felt stiff when he first stood up, his feet often felt heavy or numb, and his first several steps each morning were slow and uncertain, like trying to get an old machine running again after sitting idle too long. One morning, reaching down for the newspaper outside his front door, he caught his foot on the step and stumbled. The fall itself wasn't severe, but the fear it produced was profound. In that moment, he realized he was losing something far more significant than physical strength. He was losing his sense of who he was and what he was capable of. His wife had noticed the changes for months, his pace slowing, his walks becoming unsteady, both hands needed on the armrests just to push himself up from the sofa. Then the nighttime leg cramps began, waking him repeatedly and leaving him exhausted. Thomas didn't have diabetes. He didn't have arthritis. There was no diagnosis that explained it. What he was experiencing is what many clinicians quietly call the after 60 shift, the period when muscle loss accelerates silently but powerfully, especially in the legs that carry your weight and stabilize every movement you make. After that fall, Thomas began searching for answers with real urgency, and what he discovered was this: the strength and condition of your legs is significantly determined by what you choose to eat in the morning. So he changed his routine. No more skipping breakfast, no more black coffee on an empty stomach as his only morning fuel. Instead, he began eating foods that contained exactly the nutrients his muscles had been quietly starving for. Nutrients that restore circulation, rebuild tissue, reduce inflammation, and improve balance. Within 3 weeks, the change was noticeable. Getting up felt easier. His steps felt steadier. The nighttime cramps disappeared entirely. Within 2 months, he was walking 2 kilometers every morning without needing to stop and rest. Today, he tells his wife with a genuine smile that he feels like he has his legs back. One simple dietary adjustment, no medication, no formal physical therapy, and Thomas had reclaimed his strength, his energy, and his independence. That same possibility exists for you. You don't need exceptional luck or unusual discipline. You simply need the right food at the right time each morning. So let's go through the 5 breakfast foods that helped Thomas and thousands of other older adults build stronger, steadier legs. Number 1, whole eggs. There's almost nothing as simple or as effective for rebuilding leg muscle as a properly prepared egg. Eggs contain virtually all the essential amino acids your body needs for muscle repair, but the real power lies in the yolk, which is concentrated with vitamin D, vitamin B12, choline, and leucine, an amino acid that directly triggers muscle protein synthesis, the biological process essential for preventing and reversing muscle loss after 60. Research from the University of Illinois found that older adults who ate 2 whole eggs daily for 8 weeks experienced measurable improvements in leg strength and functional independence. Eggs also support the neuromuscular system, sharpening coordination and improving balance, while reducing fall risk. The vitamin B12 in the yolk protects the myelin sheath around your nerve fibers, improving communication between your brain and your leg muscles, which means smoother movement and more confident steps. Eggs also provide highly absorbable iron, supporting blood flow and oxygen delivery to leg muscles, a nutrient many older adults are quietly deficient in. For best results, eat both the yolk and the white within an hour of waking. Boiled eggs work beautifully, or try scrambled eggs with fresh spinach or chopped tomatoes for added antioxidants and magnesium. Maintain this habit for 30 days, and you'll very likely notice fewer cramps, stronger legs, and meaningfully greater ease rising from a seated position. Number 2, oatmeal with chia seeds. While eggs supply the protein your muscles need to build, oatmeal delivers a steady stream of nutrients that support endurance throughout the morning. Oats contain beta-glucan, a soluble fiber that reduces inflammatory activity, improves nutrient absorption in muscle tissue, and stabilizes blood sugar, particularly important after 60, when metabolic function naturally slows. Chia seeds add omega-3 fatty acids, calcium, potassium, and magnesium, all essential for healthy muscle contractions and the prevention of leg cramps. Magnesium helps muscles fully relax after contracting. Potassium maintains the electrolyte balance that keeps oxygen and nutrients flowing even to the smallest muscles in your legs. Simply cook 3 tablespoons of rolled oats in water or unsweetened plant milk until soft, then stir in a tablespoon of chia seeds. A few banana slices or blueberries add natural sweetness and antioxidant support. Speaking of bananas, they deserve their own mention as nature's electrolyte food. A medium banana provides roughly 400 milligrams of potassium, essential for keeping your muscles firing cleanly rather than misfiring into cramps or twitches. Research from Harvard University found that older adults who ate bananas regularly were 33% less likely to experience leg cramps than those with insufficient potassium intake. If you're managing diabetes, blood sugar concerns, or kidney disease, talk with your doctor first and consider a slightly underripe banana, which has less sugar and more resistant starch. Number 3, Greek yogurt. Compared to standard yogurt, Greek yogurt contains nearly double the protein because of the straining process that removes the liquid whey. For adults over 60, its slow-digesting casein protein provides a sustained release of amino acids that actively support leg muscle repair during the morning hours, right when your body is transitioning out of its overnight catabolic state. A 170-gram serving delivers roughly 17 grams of high-quality protein, including leucine, plus calcium and vitamin D for bone health and neuromuscular coordination. A study from Maastricht University in the Netherlands found that older adults who consumed 20 grams of protein each morning, paired with light physical activity, saw significant improvements in leg strength within just 6 weeks, along with fewer nighttime cramps and better balance. Choose plain, unsweetened varieties, and top with a small amount of berries, cinnamon, or chia seeds for added benefit. Number 4, salmon and other fatty fish. Including salmon, mackerel, or sardines in your morning routine at least twice a week is one of the most powerful strategies for leg muscle recovery after 60. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA, which improve insulin sensitivity in muscle tissue, reduce chronic inflammation, and enhance your body's ability to absorb protein and build new muscle. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that adults over 65 who ate 2 servings of fatty fish weekly retained 27% more leg muscle mass than those who relied only on red meat or skipped fish entirely, along with a 36% lower risk of falls caused by leg weakness. A simple preparation: pan-sear fresh salmon in extra virgin olive oil for 3 to 4 minutes per side and serve alongside roasted sweet potato or steamed vegetables. If fresh salmon isn't practical, smoked salmon or a quality fish oil supplement can help, though whole foods remain the better choice when possible. And number 5, the one I promised might surprise you: sweet potatoes with mineral salt. A gently steamed sweet potato, lightly sprinkled with natural mineral-rich salt, is an inexpensive, humble food with a genuinely profound effect on muscle health when eaten consistently. Sweet potatoes are packed with complex carbohydrates that replenish muscle glycogen depleted overnight, releasing energy gradually without the blood sugar spikes that lead to morning fatigue and cramping. A study from the French Institute of Mineral Nutrition found that adults who ate high-fiber breakfasts, including sweet potato paired with mineral-rich salt for 90 days, showed 41% better measured balance and nearly 50% fewer falls. Simply sprinkle a small amount of Celtic sea salt over half a warm steamed sweet potato and eat it about 10 minutes before your main breakfast, alongside a glass of warm water. Beyond food, a few simple daily habits make a real, cumulative difference. First thing in the morning, drink a glass of warm water with a small pinch of natural mineral salt to restore electrolytes and support circulation. Spend 3 minutes on standing leg lifts. Lift 1 foot 2 to 4 inches off the floor, hold for 10 seconds, switch sides to gently engage your calves, thighs, and hips. Avoid rising from bed too abruptly. Take 3 slow breaths, sit up gradually, and rotate your wrists and ankles before standing, which helps reactivate circulation and may reduce morning dizziness. Spend at least 5 minutes in natural morning sunlight to support vitamin D production and calcium absorption. And don't delay breakfast for hours after waking. Extended fasting accelerates muscle breakdown, so even a small portion of one of these foods is enough to shift your body from breakdown toward repair. Combine these habits with the 5 foods we've covered today: eggs, oatmeal with chia seeds, Greek yogurt, fatty fish, and sweet potato with mineral salt. And you give your legs a genuine, measurable chance to grow stronger, steadier, and more reliable, working against everything aging tries to take from you. Even the smallest consistent actions, repeated each morning, accumulate into meaningful, long-term results. Taking ownership of your health each day is what allows you to hold onto the confidence, freedom, and quality of life that make everything else worth living for. Your legs do not have to yield to the passage of time if you give them the right nutrition and support them with simple, repeatable daily habits. If today's video gave you something valuable, I want to ask you for 3 things. First, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel,